Boy, this has been a huge talker this week. Yet another big development in a flag banning controversy we've been telling you about. A second student government meeting at UC Irvine in California was canceled. After Tuesday's planned meeting was also canceled following threats of violence. This as some students and faculty are now pushing back against the fierce condemnation of the student council that created a national stir. It voted originally to remove the American flag from a student government lounge. They didn't want to see Old Glory flying. And that ban quickly vetoed and lifted. But a petition signed by professors and students now says the aggressive and sometimes shrill response to those original students who wanted to ban the flag embodies the exact aspects of nationalism and hate the council had hoped to eliminate with the no flag vote. The petition states, quote, "We admire the courage of the resolution supporters amid the environment, of political immaturity and threat, and support them unequivocally." Bernie, what are your thoughts on
political image? I'm so sick and tired of these America-hating, guilty white liberals in academia. They make me sick. I mean, look, go anywhere outside the United States for a while, come back, and you'll appreciate that flag. Plus Andrea made this point earlier in the week. This is a government-funded college. So you take money from our government, you don't want to fly the flag. Guess what? The flag has to fly, and it just makes me nauseous.
You know what's interesting as we've watched this all week, Andrea, is that the tone and the mood have changed. I mean, at first it was the students they wanted to ban, and they quickly said, no, we're not going to do that. And rather than moving on, that did not happen. Why do you think that is?
And is anybody studying? I mean, is any work getting done at these universities,
right.
really? I mean, now we have the professors involved. I mean, Harris, I think they're using this as an opportunity to take what they've been teaching in their classrooms against nationalism and get this splashed across the national pages and have it on Fox News and make their points, although they're completely looking like idiots. And these professors, if they don't like it, go to a private university and teach. Don't let us fund your salaries as taxpayers. Or better yet, why don't you go to a university in Iran? Especially the female professors.
Yep. Right.
I bet they would get treated really, really wonderfully.
Yeah, I'm sure
not.
Their points of view, I'm sure, would be taken very
they could protest against the Iranian flag, and I'm sure they would keep their head.
It would be great.
1 second, Bernie. I want to ask Katie about the nationalism language in this whole petition now. This is the very nationalism that they had hoped to keep out. What do they mean by that?
This is absurd. And the university is the only place in this country where you can get away with these ridiculous, bogus, abstract concepts that don't survive in the real world. The bottom line is that flag has survived the American Revolution, it has survived the Civil Rights Movement, it has survived the Civil War, and it brings this country together. And for these spoiled professors and the spoiled students who have a problem with it, they have choices to go elsewhere, but they also have choices to live elsewhere where they don't have the rights to do anything, not to mention complain about a flag that upholds equality and upholds the country as a place where you actually have human rights to say what you want to say.
Preach it, Katie.
All right.
Right? Kirsten gave you an atta-girl.
What she said.
Yeah, what she said.
Look,
It's true.
I actually have a couple of kids in college, believe it or not, and they actually they tailor their papers that they write because they know what the teacher wants to hear, and they're afraid of having an adverse reaction grade-wise. I swear to God, I kid not.
You're nodding to this, Kirsten.
Well, you know, I mean, I just wrote a whole book about this topic, basically. I mean, and spent so much time looking at campuses, and I went into it knowing that there was a problem. I had no idea how bad it is. And, you know, especially if you speak to conservative students, or you speak, honestly, it's not even just conservative students. It's anybody. It could be just an agnostic, like, someone who has no political beliefs. It could be somebody who's a Democrat who's just not sufficiently liberal enough. If you go off the reservation on certain issues, the way you were treated and ostracized and graded and even punished.
And graded.
Yeah, I mean, really.
It's a real problem.
Troubling. You wonder, as Andrea said, what academic work is getting done. And is anybody talking about what the flag really means in terms of free speech? You know, we do have the right to fly it. We also have the right to burn it. And my dad, having served in Vietnam, it broke his heart. But he said, that's what I fought for you to make whatever decision you as an American want to make with regard to that flag. But he didn't fight for it not to be flown. ever.
Yeah, and I mean it is very sad that these students don't. I think you're completely right. I've traveled so much, and you know, when you travel around the world, even to the even to Western Europe, I mean countries that I love, you know, you do recognize when you come back to the United States that there is just something really special about this country.
Amen.
You know, and that I think you can really take for granted, and to also remember that people around this world look to our country for help. You know, and as a beacon of hope, and that's what that flag represents to them. That doesn't mean we're perfect. We're not perfect. We make tons of mistakes. But the point is, I think that unfortunately these students aren't being taught about that.
Right. They're not.
Well said.
Wow.